HitFirstBoxing.com, Max Kellerman in the house. Max, what did you see tonight?
In which fight are we talking about?
The main event and the co-main event. Well, let's start with the main event.
Saw a great light heavyweight scrap, the kind that we used to see in the early 80s when Matthew Saab Muhammad and Yaqui Lopez and Marvin Johnson and Dwight Braxton and all these guys were mixing it up, it seemed like on the weekend, every other weekend. We've seen in recent years really good boxing performances. Bernard Hopkins essentially shutting out a guy like Tarver or something like that. Chad Dawson outboxing someone, Hopkins, whoever it is. But we haven't seen, and we've seen great knockout artists recently, Stevenson and Kovalev, obliterating guys. And then recently, Stevenson struggling with kind of second-tier guys. What we haven't seen is two top light heavyweights getting in the ring at the top of the division and brawling. A real scrap, shifts in momentum. One guy looks like he's going to be knocked out, and he comes roaring back. The outcome is up in the air at times. We haven't seen that in a long time, unless I'm forgetting an obvious example. And that was really nice to see.
But we know that the fight with Adonis Stevenson is not going to happen next because Crusher wants to keep his 3 titles. He's going to do the mandatory fight against the guy that won today, the French guy. I forget his name.
Well, the fight so far has not happened because of Kovalev's side.
Yes.
Kovalev side has been pushing for a Stevenson fight. Stevenson's side has been ducking. In fact, I've asked Adonis in the ring, what about Kovalev? And he's no, I don't need to fight that. I'll fight whoever else. Now tonight, Stevenson came up to us ringside. Jim and Bernard and I were sitting there, and Stevenson told me point blank, believe me, I'm going to fight Kovalev. So if that's the case on his side, I'm sure they're on the Kovalev side that love the Stevenson fight. In that case, eventually we get the fight.
Yeah, but then if he don't do the mandatory fight, he loses I think it's the IBO or one of those titles, and he wants
Money talks.
Well, the thing is, he wants to keep all 4 titles. He got 3 titles. He wants to do that 4 title one man and get 4.
It's unlikely that they would get that together before the next mandatory.
One more question, big boy. The big one, May 2nd. Floyd and Pacquiao. How you see that one going down, big man?
Because I'm working the fight, no one wants me to make a prediction. That's just standard in the industry because I would say Floyd is favored for a reason.
True.
And the reason people don't like predictions from broadcasters working the fight is because you want to avoid the appearance of favoritism. This is the fight everyone wants to see for a reason, because these 2 guys have the best chance of beating each other. Who out there that Floyd hasn't fought has a better chance to beat him than Pacquiao? And obviously, Floyd, being the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, has the best chance to beat everyone 47 and below, even 54 and below.
Right.
So the fight was at its best 5 or 6 years ago because that was when 2 all-time greats were in their prime at the same weight. Who was the best pound-for-pound, that sort of thing. But now, to offset the fact that maybe it's not quite the fight from, it's not from a purist point of view that it was 5 or 6 years ago, like Leonard Hearns won, that's offset by the fact that there's been pent-up demand for those 5 or 6 years, the way it was for Leonard and Hagler, where those 2 guys were not quite at their best anymore. But if anything, that was even a bigger fight than Leonard Hearns.
You're right.
So like the rest of the world, I can't wait till May 2nd.
Jennings and Klitschko, last one, homie. That's it.
Klitschko is going to be a huge favorite. He has a deep amateur background. He's a gold medalist, super heavyweight. He's been beating everyone easily now for how many years? 10 years. I mean, he's beating the hell out of everyone in non-competitive fights. Jennings is not a big puncher, and yet Jennings has shown a certain quality so far in his career, and he is a legitimate, a credible contender to fight the heavyweight champion of the world, and the heavyweight championship of the world will be fought at Madison Square Garden, the way it used to be, and that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks.
It was a pleasure.